When I got the opportunity to partner with the Cliff Central team to start a new show telling the stories of people that understand the need for a new generation of business, the naked economy, one where people are sincere in finding win-win situations, there are two things that jumped out at me. Number one, I was surprised by how popular this concept is and by how many people feel that the idea or the principles behind the naked economy resonates with them. But number two was, as I started working with the Cliff Central team, I got exposure to this podcasting community. I started seeing the value of an audience that is engaged. I started seeing how people are engaging with each other and with the content, how they are sharing content, and most importantly, getting new people into the community by sincerely saying good things with credibility about how they want people to join this community. So in short, me, the numbers guy, was starting to be converted. I was starting to see the power of the audience, the quality of the audience, rather than the size. And then at that point, Rena had the suggestion that I not just look at my own stats, but that I help them revisit the whole process of Cliff Central data and Cliff Central insights of understanding a podcasting community. So that's what we did. We combined my analytical, quantitative view of quantifying whether people, how you can predict how people behave, with their insights and their actual data of how people interact with a podcast, how they listen to it, and how they share it. We went on an ambitious journey to build a statistical prediction model to quantify listener behavior and audience growth. Quite a mouthful, but actually it just does three things. First of all, it takes the skills which my peers and I traditionally use in the insurance industry to predict future events, especially human behavior, and we transformed it into predicting listener behavior. Number two, we assigned probabilities and statistical values to the likelihood that someone would share something if they believe in it, analyzing people over their journey of listening to a podcast and understanding at different stages of that journey how likely are they to get more people to start listening to that series. And then thirdly, I tapped into the insights and the data of Cliff Central's actual experience of understanding how people interact with this medium. I asked questions like how many people that listen to the first episode of a new series end up listening to the second episode? How many people that listen to the second episode then go on to listen to all 10 episodes in that series versus how many people download the series in entirety immediately and listen to it straight away? And most importantly, throughout this journey, how many people share and tell new people and get new people to go to the top of that funnel? And so what we did in closing, I want to share with you the outcome from an actual example in this model, where we picked 5,000 people that start a new podcast. The question I had was, how many people would listen to all 10 episodes of a series of 10, to a series of 10? Now, that's a big commitment. And bear in mind that the model then predicts that less than 30% of those original 5,000 listeners will actually make it all the way through. But here's the crux. If the content is appropriate, engaging, entertaining, informative, socially relevant, then those people will start referring. And what we can then do is start tracking those people and tracking their behavior in terms of how they listen and progress throughout the 10 episodes and whether they share. And as you extend that process, you go up to 10 generations of people being 10 generations removed from the original 5,000 listeners. How many people do you think complete that series in entirety? How many people listen to all 10 episodes in entirety? The number? 9,800. Now, that may not sound that big. If you compare it to the 300,000 people that hear your name for 7 seconds when you sponsor the traffic on a radio station, then 9,800 is not big. But what I can tell you is without us going that far in terms of quantifying the actual rand value of each one of those, what I can tell you is that when I spend 4 hours listening to 10 episodes of a podcast, I will tell my friends. It's the way an audience grows. It is the new non-marketing. I didn't expect this before, but clearly there is power in growing an audience this way.